Welcome back, kids. Heading back to the classroom next week. Our school squad is good to go. If your kiddo still has to pick out a backpack for the new school year, there are some things to keep in mind when it comes to doing that correctly, making smart decisions for good back support. Joining us this morning in studio, Bradley Johnson, a physical therapist with Hartford Healthcare's Rehab Network. Thanks for being here, my friend.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, let's jump right into it. I recruited my 3-year-old godson and his siblings, Jack, Luca, and Madeline, as my backpack model, so we'll share some of that video in a minute. But big picture here, when parents are looking for a backpack, what are we keeping in mind?
Yeah, I think one of the first things is just to kind of take down the fear of it all, that there is no strong link between backpack weight and back pain in the long run. So I think your kids are strong, resilient little kiddos that will adapt to a lot of things. But if we look to optimize, if I might, if we look to optimize what you can get for your kid, bigger isn't always better, so finding a backpack that sort of fits the frame of your kid will help to dissipate the weight more evenly. So just because it's the biggest one might not make it the easiest. You're looking for probably 2 easy straps on the back, a water bottle pocket. If they have to walk to school on a regular basis, it might be beneficial to have like a clasping strap between the 2 shoulder straps. And then maybe try not to be the absolute cool kid and wear it on both shoulders most of the time, especially if you're carrying it a long distance. That'll just make it a little bit easier on you.
Yeah, I see the little ones in my life drag them, but the one shoulder thing was like the big thing growing up.
It is, yeah.
What does that do to kind of your infrastructure?
I mean, it just like obliquely kind of puts the load on you over time and makes you have to work one side more than the other. But again, they'll probably adapt to it. But if you're talking about carrying weight between classes, I know kids these days are using lockers less and taking their books. It's just easiest if you have it on both shoulders, yeah.
All right, if you were a McGilver, you were hauling quite a distance walking to and from school. Before we went on air, you and I talked roughly about backpack weight.
Right.
My nephew wants the biggest bag. He wants it full to the brim, everything he owns under the sun in there. What are your thoughts generally on kind of what a backpack should weigh for a kiddo?
General recommendation would probably be 15 to 20% of their body weight. Some might be able to hold more, some less, but overall I think if you start at that number, you'll be pretty good.
Mistakes that families or kiddos are making when it comes to backpacks?
I think, you know, obviously the Avengers one or the Barbie one is the coolest looking one, but might not fit them the best, you know, in terms of like size or that sort of thing, and going with that and then overloading it, especially if they walk to school again. You know, if they're just setting it down in the car or the bus, maybe less of a issue, but finding the right size and then, you know, loading it appropriately, I think is the best way to go about keeping them comfortable.
And if I tap into your expertise, because we're fortunate to have you on the couch this morning, generally speaking, overall health and wellness of kids, are there things that parents should be looking at when it comes to getting the backpack to school or playing sports or just being mobile this time of year?
I think that's a great point and question in terms of like people worry about the posture and things that backpacks can induce on the spine or anything, but that's not the real issue as opposed to like the chronic sitting and then the, you know, more time indoors, video games, etc. Not that those things are bad, but encouraging kids to get outside, play, or involved in town or scholastic sports or activities like that is again going to build them up so that wearing a heavy backpack is nothing to them because they're regularly moving around, getting strong, getting fit and healthy. And then, like I said, kids are resilient beings, so like getting them to do what they do best is always best for their health.
Kids are resilient, and as I learned from my godson and his siblings, when all else fails, I see mom and dad carrying all 3 backpacks anyways.
Anyway, it's on you, so pick one that you like too.
All right, listen, we appreciate your joining us on the couch this morning. Best of luck with what you're doing, and good luck everyone with back to school. For sure, some good information this morning.